Hello, I'm Archie Luxury and welcome to the program. In this episode here, I'd like to talk about how to get brochures from luxury retailers. And this specifically relates to the luxury wristwatch industry. And as you all know, I'm a huge luxury watch fan. Here's my Calatrava. But you've got to be a little bit, when you want to get knowledge, and I encourage all my viewers to get as much information as possible. Knowledge is power. And the only way you can really learn about these things is by getting some catalogues. And it's a pretentious business because, rightly so, they're out to sell watches. And they're not there to give out free samples. So, for someone like Archie, I'm a second-hand buyer. I buy from the arse end. After the initial retail consumption has gone into their mouth, I buy it at the arse end. When they've gotten divorced, when they're getting bankrupt, when they've got the lawyers after them. And, that's when I buy things, at the secondary market. And the only thing is, for me to have knowledge, I still need the brochures. So I'd like to have a talk about what do you need to do to get these brochures, because they're hard fuckers to get. Particularly in Thailand, where they're the most pretentious fuckers in the world. So the first thing you've got to do is, you've got to make yourself presentable. Now this is casual Archie. So now we're going to transform casual Archie into successful investment banker Archie, successful I'm about to go on trial Archie. So we've got to change our appearance. So this casual stuff isn't going to work. This unshaven look, it might be okay for George Michael, but it's not really good for average punters. So I'm just going to stop the video here for one moment. I'm going to come back in the attire, how you should look to be able to get free brochures. So let's just stop for a minute, and I'll come back in 1 minute there. I've got to put my fucking fancy shit on. And don't worry, you don't need to fucking have tailored stuff. If you go to your local op shop, St. Vincent de Paul, charity shop, fucking hobo joint, they have a lot of suits and pants and ties you can buy quite cheaply. So don't worry about that there. So we'll just stop for a minute. There we go. I'm back. And I've taken special care here. So I have a nice simple white shirt, and you can get these. I'd instead of going to Kmart or Target, I'd really prefer to go on op shop and get a better brand, nicer cotton. And the thing about high-end retailers is they can smell bullshit like mothballs. So you just got to be a bit careful how you play the game. So we've got a shirt. Doesn't matter if it's a little bit fraying, because that shows that you're a stingy rich fucker, which is what they're quite used to. So that's quite okay. So the other thing is, you really want a nice tie. I bought this one here from St. Vincent de Paul's, and it's a Hugo Boss, and that was about $7. And I did ask them for a discount as well. They're always, when you go to the op shop, always ask for a discount. You say, look, I'm on the bones of my ass. I'm unemployed, I need it for a job interview, can you help me? That's a great line to use. So there we go. So we've got a tie. Look, the jacket, don't really need the jacket, but let's put it on. We're going in for Patek class, Lange class. It's always good to have the jacket. And one thing you can't fake or buy cheaply, before you go into these stores, it's very good to have an expensive wristwatch already on your wrist. That is really the key to it all, because it says you're part of the club. It says you're already a consumer. And naturally, all the things I wear are bought from the arse end of the market. But, you know, you've still got to have the goods, I'm afraid, okay? So if you haven't got one, you could always lend one. You know, just giving you the advice. It's a bit harder if you don't already have one. So now, let's go on to actually getting the books themselves. So you simply go in there. Don't be pretentious. Always be nice, polite, well-mannered. Look around. Hello. I'm looking for a present for myself. And I really love Patek's, but I want something a little bit more special. And you show them your Patek, and never do this with a fake, because they can smell a fake a mile away. So you show them, and you could even take it off. And if it doesn't have the original Patek leather strap, like I often take my original Patek straps off, here I've actually fitted an American alligator strap. And I'll say, yes, I've actually had the strap changed to an American alligator strap. But the original one I've got at home because they're $500 to $600. So you're telling them you know what it costs, and you know you gotta. If you're going to state facts, make sure you fucking got the numbers right, because they can fucking pick holes in your lies. So that's often the best way to go there. And let's have a look at the books that I got when I went to Thailand recently. So let's have a look and see. Oh, and just before I go on, when I was in Thailand, I did go in a casual tire a few times, and one store even pretended that they were closed because I just wasn't dressed for the part. They told me, sorry, we're closed. And I said, hey, and I knew these fuckers from way back, and I said, hey, it's me, it's Paul, it's Archie. And they let me in, but you gotta play the game, okay? As AP says, if you're going to break the rules, you've got to know them first. And there's a bit of fucking truth in that. Okay, so let's have a sticky at the books I got. Okay, so these are the books that I got for my recent trip to Bangkok. And I was quite proud of them. Quite a stash. And let's have a bit of a sticky beak there. Quite a nice range. And you can see I've got multiple copies of some books, and that's because I've gone to the same brand but in a different location. And you know, you can never have too many quality brochures or magazines, because the reality is you can swap those or trade them or even sell them on eBay if you don't need them. And sometimes you might have a collector who you might have two Patek books, and he might swap you, say, an AP book to get a Patek book. So, you know, they're kind of currency. So let's have a look here, and some of the beautiful books here. So one of the the highlights of the trip was the very rare Lange book. And this is just a fucking, look at that. It's just a fucking beautiful encyclopedia of fucking, it's got every model laid out there. And I mean, that's a hard brochure to get. And I put that down to the cheap suit and the St. Vincent de Paul's tie. So that's the Holy Grail, the Lange book. And that's a cool book to get there. And sometimes I gotta be honest with you, this is a Ralph Lauren book, and I don't know why the fuck I let them. Sometimes you got to say no. You say, oh no, I'm not interested in that brand. I mean, you know, between you and me, I mean, Ralph Lauren, he's a cool fucker, but his watches are absolute dog shit. I mean, fuck it. They're not fucking. I mean, they're trying to get into the watch market. Sure, I understand, but they're not fucking Pateks, they're not VC, they're not AP. They're a fashion design house who I think is out of their depth. That's my own fucking opinion of that. But sometimes you get, I just couldn't throw it away. It just looks so cool with the fake crocodile sort of cover there. And I thought, oh fuck, it's a general book on fine watchmaking. I'll take the fucking thing. So that's what I did there. And I also got a. There's also some other types of books. They got like this is a pendulum book, which is quite, it's like a magazine for all the brands there. That's quite good there. Excuse me. I gotta say, in all honesty, there, you really want to get your better books. What's this? This is a Cartier book there. Yeah, they're okay. It's quite a cool book, that one. I don't have a problem. That's a nice book I got there. I was really after Pacific brands. I was really after the this is the Jaeger Le Coultre book. That's a really cool book to have there. That's got all the models, and that's a very hard book to get there. So I'm really pleased. The thicker, and you really want the thick fucking sales brochure. Like the encyclopedia volume. So that's a really fucking cool book. So that's the latest Jaeger Le Coultre 2012-2013 edition sales catalogue. So that's a fucking hard thing to get that. Sometimes, now, I gotta say, with Patek, I was actually a bit disappointed. They gave me this fucking thing here, which has got all the new releases. And, yeah, it's cool to have, but I really wanted the fucking encyclopedia. The encyclopedia brochure. And, no, even Archie struck out. I didn't fucking get it. I got a few copies of this here, which is the 2012 catalogue. But I wanted the fucking the encyclopedia one. So I gotta say, I even if you wear the suit, they can be mean, nasty fuckers and not get it. So I got a few copies of that. Never say no to Patek shit. That's always very, very collectible, and it's good for a swap situation, as I've said there. What I did get in Thailand, which was really, really, really fantastic, I got the Breguet book, which is, nice and thick. Nice, even if it's the year before, it's still a fucking, it's a cool fucking thing. And it's got every fucking Breguet. It tells you the story about Breguet. It's got every fucking thing there that you'd want to know about Breguet. And let's have a look. I think they've even got Archie's. There we go. Yeah, we've even got Archie's Breguet, which is the Breguet Type 20 Transatlantic on the leather strap. That's also in the book. That's a great one to get. What I got, which was really good, was this cool fucking secondary supplementary book. And I've never seen this before, and it's just so fucking cool. It goes through some really cool models. It's got all this extra shit about Breguet, and that's just a fucking cool, thing to have on Breguet. I can't even pronounce the cover. Le Quali de l'Horologie. So, what does that fucking mean? It's an expensive way of saying, yeah, you know what I'm fucking talking about there. And one book which is always very fucking hard is the Vacheron. So I managed to get the Vacheron. I think Vacheron's got a big book as well. They only gave me this little fucker, but I can't really complain there. And they also gave me this one here, which was on a Pacific model, and that's quite cool as well. It's a very, very cool book, catalogue, brochure, whatever you want to fucking call it to have. That's That's very, very cool. As I said there, I got multiple of those Patek ones, and they're always good. You know, you can always use them in a trade situation or whatever. Got the standard Omega. Yeah, that's just fucking. Yeah, look at that. Omega's cool. That's a cool one to have there. I don't know what the fuck. I put this in my suitcase and I got this fucking red stain. I don't know what the fuck that's from. But the Rolex catalogue, that's always very, very handy to have. So that was quite a. They're a bit mean because I could only fucking get one of those, and I did manage to get the Rolex Awards book, which is like a magazine. So that did come in handy there. And I did get a few other magazines as well there. If you have a look, you can see I got the Cartier magazine, and let's have a look there. We've got the Cartier magazine, Paragamini. This is a new, it's that expensive brand there. Yeah, I'm more of a traditionalist. I did get an AP. I got an AP magazine too, which is that's kind of fucking trendy. You know, I got a blank pan one as well. So I mean, look. You never know your luck in the big city. I did dip out. I mean, I was really hoping to get an AP. I wanted the big fucking AP book. But, no, they wouldn't fucking give me one. So, that could be because they've run out. You know, sometimes, you know, between editions, they won't have one. But, sometimes they can just be mean, nasty fuckers. And they're just not very helpful. But as you can see there, that's my haul from Thailand, and it all comes down to wearing a nice suit. I had my in my case when I was in Thailand, I had my annual calendar on. I mean, the annual calendar, fuck me dead, does that open doors? If you walk in somewhere with a fucking annual calendar on your wrist, you've kind of. You know, it's a watch that, and you say to them, this is the first annual calendar, my 5035. It's just such a cool fucking thing. And oh yeah, I got some Vuitton history catalogue there. Unfortunately, Vuitton's fucking. They seem to have canned the normal brochure. The normal catalogue is gone now, so I did manage to get the history. So anything you can get Vuitton is always anything you get with Vuitton is always fucking very collectible. It's always very, very desirable to have, and unfortunately a lot of these companies are cutting down on it. And or they could just be spinning me a line. I mean, I don't know. So let's have a look there. So that's my Thailand trip. Whoops, we'll just bring the camera up a bit there. So that's my Thailand trip there. So yeah, I was quite proud of it. I turned down a lot of brochures. I just said to them, hey guys, I'm fucking, because I had luggage limits and shit like that there, so I didn't want to push it, but yeah, that's the catalogues I got there, so I'm quite proud of the haul. I'm Archie Luxury, and I hope this video has been useful.